come on. This might be a shorter trip than I figured it would be. She's acting like she just ain't getting it. Oh, we gonna start our morning like that, are we? I recently got around to putting my adjustable levers and a bar end mirror on this thing to kind of clean the whole look up, make it look a little cooler. But somebody wants to be a booger this morning. I know it's been like a month since we've ridden you, but geez. Because actually I'm out here on a slightly chilly morning because I was going to talk about how good this bike is and how much I like it and how I finally decided what I was going to do with it. She's wanting to be a booger. She's mad. She just mad at me is probably all it is. Maybe. I don't know. Unless it caught wind of what I was thinking about doing, because I was thinking about getting rid of this thing in the spring. Be parting ways with this machine, getting something a little different. And I think it's mad at me, but you're not helping your case, darling. You're not helping your case. I will say, though, that some of this is my fault, because when I put the 22mm nibby carb on here, I probably never properly dialed her in. So, some of this is my fault. But as of this moment in time, we're planning on keeping our little Boom Vader, our little Grom clone, because it is a ton of fun. I never have a bad time on this bike. Thinking about it, there's a couple different directions I could go with it. A lot of people, what they like to do is they'll put knobby tires on it, treat it kind of like a little pit bike, which is kind of what it is. A tiny little adventure bike, something they could like rip through, not people's yards, but like fields and little dirt trails, gravel roads, things like that, which is probably a good little bike for that. I wouldn't jump it. I wouldn't be jumping, 16 cars, like they do in freaking the Evel Knievel videos and whatnot. And then a lot of guys will drop these things. You can get up to 4-inch drop kit for these things. But yeah, the 4.5-inch drop kit seems too low. And a lot of guys will extend, you can do a swing arm extension, 5 or 6 inches, lower the bike a little bit. A real nice low and slow kind of feel to it. Little street cruiser, a little lead sled, if you will. But the downside of kind of extending the swing arm a little bit, it's kind of like on my chopper, when I extended the front end. You're going to lose a little bit of maneuverability. And that's kind of the key point of this bike. The best thing about it, and these are still the Chinese tires and they're cold, so I need to be careful. The whole point is that they're fun, they're light, they're maneuverable, and that's kind of why I wanted to keep it. Because it probably couldn't hurt having a light fuel-efficient motorcycle, but we are gonna do probably, like major surgery on this thing. We definitely don't want to chop it out, because I did that already on another bike, and I kind of regret it. But no, one thing I do wish this bike had was a bit more acceleration. And as you guys have probably seen in the video, it's honestly not that bad. It does kind of get up and go. I just wish it went a little bit more. But with this cooler air, it does seem to be pulling a little more than it normally would. And I've been kind of suspect that I've been running running rich for quite some time now. But it doesn't matter. As far as this 125 is concerned, doesn't matter because we're getting rid of it. We're going to be saying goodbye to the 125cc. I'm dropping in a ZZ 212 4-valve. Because why the heck not? The 4-valve should be extra torquey. Give us a heck of a lot more get up and go. Which in all honesty, I've never had, I don't know. I don't want to say difficulty buying anything on the internet. But, I kind of paid for this thing like 5 days ago. found it on eBay. That's pretty much where these engines come from. Because, of course, like everything else with this bike, I'm putting Chinese parts on a Chinese bike because I'm not spending big money. Those are knockoff levers. These are still the stock bars. These are knockoff grips, cheap mirrors. But I bought this thing on eBay like 5 days ago, and then the seller messaged me. I can't remember. They messaged me like 3 times now, and I still don't have a tracking number. Because the first one was like, hey, what bike do you plan on putting this in? All right, I gave the model number. Cool. Then it's like, oh, is this a replacement? Is this an upgrade? Like, what are you doing with it? And I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. Doesn't matter what I'm doing with it. But sure, man, I'm doing an engine swap on the bike. It's going to be more power, so it's going to be mo better. So I wake up this morning, because they're on the other side of the world, so it was like 12 hours between messages. And it's basically, are you sure this is going to fit? If you let us know and confirm, then we'll ship it. And in my head, I'm thinking, it's like, dude, I paid for this thing 5 days ago. You already have my money. Ship it. And I didn't read the whole message at first. I just did, like, on your phone, you pull it down, you can kind of see what the message says. It was basically like, are you sure, is all I saw, like, when I first woke up this morning. Let's dial this mammer jammer down a little bit. She's nice and warm. Takes her a little bit to warm up sometimes. But I'm really trying not to be rude to this person, because I get where they're coming from. They want it to be sure. They don't want to have to deal with somebody saying, oh, I need to return this engine, and it being a huge pain in the butt. And not everybody does their research. They see something and, oh, we'll see if this works, and then spend the money on it, which by the way, this is a $1,400 bike shipped to the house. This engine's costing me like $1,200. Which from what I hear years ago, they used to be like half that price. So maybe we missed the mark, but that's okay. But it's like, man, I don't need all this correspondence. But I was cordial. Because they're just making sure. They said, sir, in the email, very respectable. So I just replied, yes, the ZZ190/212 are a popular swap for this bike. Please ship the engine. Thank you. So hopefully here in the next 24 hours, I'm hoping we got a tracking number. Because this thing's already taken the slow boat from you-know-where. So it ain't exactly getting here anytime soon. So the first 212 engine didn't end up working out. Right as the seller went to ship it, they sent me these pictures here. That is a crack in the stator cover. That's no bueno. No good. And since they said it'd take a little while to get parts, and I didn't want to wait, I went ahead and refunded it. And then a week or two later, I ended up ordering another one from a different seller, which is here at the house. It actually got delivered at the time of this recording yesterday. So I haven't taken it out of the box yet. By the time this video comes out, I probably will. And fingers crossed, everything's good to go. But I'm trying to decide if I want to record the whole engine swap, because honestly, it doesn't seem that difficult. There are a few videos I've seen that I've kind of watched already, and pretty much the engine's going to bolt in. There's some minor wiring changes I got to do, and some of the stuff from the 125 is going to transfer over, at least like the gear indicator and whatnot. So it's like virtually 95 to 99% plug and play, which is kind of nice. And I already know this is going to probably take several hours, which is why I'm thinking, like, do I really want to put a video together for it? And the other thing is, the video I saw was a guy, Freddie Rods, and I'll link it in the description of this one, and probably if I talk about putting the 212 in, I'll probably link it in that video too. That one goes over pretty much everything step by step. And honestly, if I make a video doing the swap, it feels like I'm going to basically be replicating his video. And also with the amount of time it's going to take, having the extra layer of trying to record things and think about what I'm saying and flubbing a line and having to start over, or having a part half installed and then flubbing a line, or goofing up the install and having to do that multiple times, it might be a little overwhelming. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to or not. We'll definitely think about it. And you may also be wondering, what benefits are there going to the 212 other than a bigger engine? Is top speed going to be a thing? Well, not really. Top speed's probably going to be about the same. And even then, you know, we're working with 12-inch wheels. These are essentially scooter tires. I can't even put more than 33 PSI in them, according to the sidewall. But mainly it's going to be torque and acceleration. That's, I think, where I'm going to see, like, the majority of the difference. Actually, the 0 to 60s, the stuff like this, the little side roads, you know? Plus, it has a 5th gear, too, which I'm super excited about. Because these little Grom clones only got 4 gears, kind of like the first-gen Groms. I think after the second model year, they went to 5-speed. And maybe I should have just bought one of them, I don't know. But I kind of, in a way, I think the clones are better. I don't feel as bad modifying this bike as if I did with a freaking, you know, a several $1,000 Honda Grom. I don't mind messing with this one. But yeah, I think that engine's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully I can get a tracking number soon. Let's certainly hope so. We should definitely get a bit more acceleration, which she does okay. The 17-tooth front sprocket, 22mm nibby carb, full exhaust, she does okay. But she could do better. And in all honesty, I'm kind of hoping like it captures some of the magic of the first time I rode this motorcycle. You know, my first experience on this thing. And if you're curious what that was like, you can check that video out right here. And as always, y'all be good.